The Galactic Council chamber on Station Kepler 7 was designed to impress. Crystalline walls stretched 300 meters high, refracting the light of a dozen distant stars. Representatives from 47 species sat in concentric rings, their varied physiologies accommodated by adaptive seating. But today, all eyes, and optical sensors, and echolocation organs, were focused on the viewing screen at the center. Council Leader THX, Vorian species, crystalline form. We convene today to discuss an anomaly. Defense Minister Crow, your report. Minister Crow, Thoraxian, insectoid, clicks mandibles nervously. Honored Council, 3 cycles ago, we opened the Crucible Academy to humanity. As you know, the Crucible has trained the galaxy's finest warriors for 6 centuries. Our acceptance rate across all species averages 12%. Our graduation rate is 3%. Counselor VSS, Aquarian, speaks through translation unit. We are familiar with the statistics, Minister. Please proceed to the anomaly. Crow, the anomaly is this: every single human applicant is still in the program. Murmurs ripple through the chamber. Several counselors' translator units emit confusion signals. TGX, that's impossible. The Crucible is designed to break the strongest warriors we could conceive. The first week alone. Crow, I know. I designed it. Brings up holographic footage. This is day 3. The sleep deprivation trial. Scene 2, Crucible Academy, day 3. Narrator, on screen, the council watched 57 cadets of various species marching through a simulated combat zone. Most moved mechanically, fighting the effects of 72 hours without sleep. 3 Vorians had already crystallized into dormancy, their species' involuntary response to exhaustion. 2 Thoraxians lay in medical, their neural systems having simply shut down. But at the back of the formation, 6 humans stumbled forward. Their eyes were bloodshot. Their movements were clumsy. But they were singing. Human Cadet Martinez, singing off-key. I don't know, but I've been told. Other humans, in rough unison. Earthling blood runs mighty bold. Human Cadet Okonkwo, barely standing, signed up to be Galactic Force. Other humans, now I'm sleeping on the floor. Narrator, drill instructor Zarthen, a battle-scarred Krillian warrior who'd survived 3 planetary invasions, stared at the humans with what his species displayed as profound confusion, a deepening of his carapace ridges. Instructor XRTGN, gravelly voice. Why are you singing? Martinez, swaying, grinning. Helps keep us awake, sir. XRTGN, you realize this exercise is designed to determine your breaking point? Cadet Park, Korean woman, practically unconscious but still moving. Yes, sir. Respectfully, sir, we don't break. Scene 3, Council Chamber, continued. VSS, surely they failed eventually. Crow, brings up new footage. Day 7. The gravity trial. 5 times Earth normal gravity. Most species experience complete muscular failure within minutes. Narrator, the footage showed a vast chamber with gravity generators humming ominously. Cadets of various species lay collapsed on the floor within moments. The humans fell too, at first. Then, incredibly, they started crawling. Cadet Torres, on screen, barely audible, crawling. My grandmother, fled across 200 miles of desert, with 4 children, to cross a border, into a better life. Gasps for breath. I can crawl another 10 meters. Cadet Okonkwo, crawling alongside, voice strained. My ancestors survived the middle passage, in the hull of a slave ship. They survived. I will survive. Martinez, pulling himself forward centimeter by centimeter. My great-great-grandfather, dug in the Peruvian silver mines, 14 hours a day, gasping. I can do 14 minutes. Narrator, the human called Park was crying as she crawled, tears streaming down her face. But she didn't stop. Neither did the one called Jensen, whose arms were shaking so badly he could barely pull himself forward. Neither did Kowalski, who was literally vomiting from the exertion but kept moving between heaves. XARTHN, on recording, speaking quietly to his assistant, "This isn't normal. Why won't they stop?" Assistant instructor, "Sir, I've been researching human history. I think this is normal for them." Scene 4, Council Chamber, Reactions. Counselor BREX, Delphinian, dolphin-like, "This is clearly an aberration. Some statistical anomaly in your selection process." Crow, "That's what I thought too. So I examined the human homeworld." Council, "With your permission." Vex gestures approval. A hologram of Earth materializes. Crow, "Planet Earth. Class 5 Death World. Observe, active plate tectonics causing constant mega-earthquakes. Volcanic activity sufficient to trigger multiple extinction events. Weather systems capable of producing wind speeds that would shred most species. Temperature ranges from 183 degrees below their freezing point to 330 degrees above it. Approximately 71% of the surface is covered in a corrosive solvent that most species cannot safely touch or consume. And this solvent regularly rises up and attempts to destroy their coastal settlements. VSS, how did intelligence even evolve there? Crow, "That's not the remarkable part. Zooms in on various regions. The remarkable part is that they spread across all of it. Deserts where water doesn't exist. Frozen wastelands. Jungles filled with toxic flora and fauna. Mountain ranges with insufficient oxygen. They went to all of these places and said, 'Yes, we shall live here too.' THEX, surely they terraform these regions?" Crow, "No. They just adapt. Or die trying. Mostly adapt, somehow." Council, "Every other species in this chamber evolved on what humans would classify as a paradise world. Stable climates. Abundant resources. Minimal predators. We developed intelligence because we had the luxury to think." Narrator, Crow paused, his antennae drooping. Crow, "Humans developed intelligence so they could figure out new ways to survive things that should have killed them." Scene 5, Crucible Academy, Week 3. Narrator, the footage jumped forward. Week 3, the Psychological Resilience Trial. Cadets were isolated in individual cells with nothing but their thoughts, minimal sustenance, and a button. Press the button, and the trial ends. Your military career ends with it, but the suffering stops. Narrator, by hour 40, every non-human cadet had pressed the button. The isolation, complete sensory deprivation, was simply too much for species that had evolved in communities, in ecosystems where connection was survival. But the human cells remained active. 72 hours passed. Then 96. Monitoring equipment showed them talking to themselves, singing, doing exercises in the darkness, creating games from nothing. Cadet Jensen, in darkness, to himself, "Okay. I spy with my little eye, something that is, dark. Laughs, got myself again. That's 17-3, Jensen. You're on a losing streak." Cadet Kowalski, in another cell, doing push-ups 9,217, 9,218. Cadet Martinez, reciting, "Hope is the thing with feathers / that perches in the soul / and sings the tune without the word / and never stops at all." What's the next part? Come on, you learned this in school. Narrator, the monitoring team watched in amazement as the humans simply refused to break. They invented elaborate fantasy scenarios. They composed songs. They solved complex mathematical problems in their heads. One human, Cadet Park, spent 6 straight hours mentally replaying every meal she'd ever eaten with her family, savoring each memory. Scene 6, Instructor's Observation Room. XARTGN, to his staff, "I don't understand. We've broken Krillian warlords with this trial. Warriors who'd fought in 30 campaigns. Why won't these humans quit?" Assistant Instructor, reading from a datapad, sir. I found something in the Human Cultural Database. It's called the Stockdale Paradox. During one of their wars, soldiers were captured and tortured for years. The ones who survived weren't the optimists who thought they'd be rescued soon. That hope killed them when it didn't happen. The survivors were the ones who accepted the brutal reality but never stopped believing they'd prevail eventually. Exartitian, that's contradictory. Assistant, yes, sir. Apparently humans are very good at holding contradictory truths simultaneously. Exartitian, watching the monitors, they're in sensory deprivation. They have nothing. What are they holding on to? Assistant, I think, themselves, sir. Their own minds. Humans on Earth evolved.